that stand? Any stories that come to mind as you were watching that particular?
What production?
Yeah.
Production wise. That's a good question. Pipe conductor.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a real story because I had to send my husband down to the hardware shop and I cut lots of pipes to the right tones. I looked it up online actually as to what's the diameter and therefore what's the length that you have to cut it to get one note, and then you drill string. True love, actually. So, you're doing anything today, Mark? And I went and got one of those big plastic pipes just to get the main before I did anything else. That was the best thing. But then when it came to the kind of cutting up of pipes, I didn't want to do that too. So yeah, that was it. But it was also from the animation point of view, that was the most tricky, wasn't it, I think? Because we suddenly realised actually we need every single pipe has its own sounds, and we had to separate all the music tracks, not only finalise them, but then separate them out and then just give the animator that specific track out of about 10 or something. And then that was quite finely different.
It's the first time you locked it completely, really, isn't it?
It was,
in a way. I mean, I'm sure you embellished it and just sort of rounded out a little bit. That was the closest.
But that was the one we suddenly realised it was. Actually, I think we just learned so much to do that first series, really, how to do things, and that was particularly wrong.
And was it all recorded at your house?
Yes, I think it was, actually, yes. I think, yeah. Yes.
Tanera's 10 minutes down the road from us, which is always helpful.
So when you hear things like clarinet and the violin, those are my friends who come over, and obviously I pay them, and then they come over. It's nice to give them employment, and they help me out. It's really nice, actually.
And your son plays, whenever Sarah plays the tuba, that's your son, is it?
No, it's when Rainbow appears. There's a French horn.
French horn from Rainbow.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's there. Sorry? I did pay him. Yes, not necessarily the going rate, but then again, that's just ongoing.
Does anyone have any questions at all about what we've shown and presented?
I've got a question. There's so many nice little bits of humour in there. I was just wondering if that's decided by Sarah, or at the beginning, if that's animators like for each one you give them to. Like, you know, I saw a duck falling off Sarah's head, tiny little things like that.
Most big decisions are storyboarded, I'd say. And a lot of them are written as well, to be honest. I mean, Sarah writes very visually, like I said. I guess from having you studied animation at the same college that we did down in Bournemouth, I guess. You write
That's where it came from.
Yeah.
Well,
everything comes from Bournemouth. Yes. But you write quite visually, I thought so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I come up with certain things in the episodes, but then, I mean, with later episodes, Ben and in our next series, other script writers have injected their extra gags into places, and obviously you come up against, I guess, structure problems or things that BBC might not necessarily go for in terms of health and safety and stuff, so they've got to figure out certain things.
It's been amazing on the whole, but there's occasional things that come up.
Yeah. And then when it goes to storyboarding, we've got an amazing storyboarder, Tony, who's just he throws a hell of a lot of gags in there as well.
It's 32 out of 40 episodes in the first series as well, which is pretty hefty. Yeah, and then animators, and there is still, I guess, breathing space to plus as well. The answer is at every stage, and we're very lucky that it has been plussed at every stage rather than sort of demolished at every stage.
Sorry, it's 6 roller skateboarders go down.
Oh, amazing. I'm apologising personally for them.
Really sorry, Jamie. Speak to him.
Yeah, no, every stage has, happily, and then the music has another stage and the sound has another stage. So we're just lucky that there hasn't been any weak links at all in the process of working.
Do you find that if they do pull things up health and safety wise, it's just to do with like having boiling water or like just kind of concept in the show, or have they been caught anything you're like, I don't think that was it?
Well, in the trailer that we did for Cartoon Forum, they were actually they're pouring tea. So that was something they said straight away with BBC's that we can't have them doing that because apparently in the past, like, the kid picked up a teapot and just poured boiling water.
Well, if on the head, it had like a sea cozy sort of, as a hat or something. You have to be really careful when it comes to imitatable behaviour. And I think almost the more unusual stuff you can get away with more, but it is little things like Sarah sort of, closing a cupboard door behind her if she's hiding inside of it or something like that. Or
the snails were an issue.
Yeah.
We had like a snail episode, and it wasn't so much hygiene as I think animals can't, like snails carry something that can infect animals, so duck would have been at risk.
it was in the news at the time. That's literally the only thing that got to treatment stage, or nearly even script stage, that we had to scrap. But it was literally something in the news that was topical at the time. And I think you do have to question that you are a role model, and it is really important to make sure there's nothing irresponsible in there. And I think they're great barometers of that. But we try and think about that too, so that it doesn't get to that stage. But I think teapots was a big thing we got rid of.
I think when both of us now are coming up with synopses, we tend to not think so much about that and just come up with ideas. And then we have script kind of workshops, I guess, with Jamie and Tim, where we go through things and then talk about things we definitely can't do, but then ideas within that we can use. But I think it's good initially to just let your mind kind of blurt it all out, and then hone it.
I see it as my job not to kill the good ideas, and try and work out what the most interesting part of the idea was, so that we can try and continue with that if there is a stumbling problem. And that's really important. I think there's been a few episodes like Plate Fog that were a bit of a challenge, but there was just such a nice sort of core idea there that it's been really important to sort of just push through and make work. So it's important to stamp on things, and you can stamp on things too easily in a group process. We may probably still do it too much, but I hope we don't do it as much as other people.
How many animators do you normally have?
Animators do about 6 seconds a day, which is quite fast, really. So it's 44 animators per episode, 8 in total. And they do, I guess they get through 6.5 minutes every 3 weeks, so it's about 33 seconds a week. But we do it in teams, so we always have 2 episodes going at once, which is quite helpful. Interesting, because it means sometimes we might have an episode where they're inside their house playing with the robot the whole episode, and what happens with that? Or they might be going to a fun fair with lots and lots of extra characters around. And we actually use having the 2 teams balance it out. We can juggle, get extra help if one episode's a bit lighter than others. So the more ambitious they get, that gets rarer. But 8 animators on series 1. So it's quite a tight group.
I'm thinking that the characteristics or the personality traits that you need to be an animator are very different from being a producer, or the way that you've been working the last few years with taking ideas to different places. And other than all your energy, what do you think that's allowed you to be able to do that? What do you think someone needs?
What to do producing?
Well, because I think like being a creative person isn't, you need the balance, don't you, between being a business person and a creative person. And not everybody's got that. Some people are very businessy or some people are very creative. But you seem to have a balance, or something's allowed you to.
The way the company's set up is that we have Chris White, who he ran a graphic design company, he's done lots of event management over the years. He's on sort of solely on the producing side. Tim O'Sullivan is on the we studied at St Uni together, and he sort of really spends his time purely on the creative side. And I'm sort of somewhere in the two.
Yeah.
So Chris protects sort of pure business and the finance and the money. I don't really sort of have to deal too much with paying people every month and everything. But I do worry about, work out where that money's spent. It's really important that we spend the money in the right place, and that I protect. Coming from an animation background, having studied animation, it's really important to protect, make sure the money ends up on screen. I'm not sure. I guess I used to read all sorts of trade mags and stuff when I was younger, and just paid attention as much as I could to the bigger picture. But it's really important. I think I hope that everything we do is from the artistic perspective more than the money perspective. We just have to deal with that to get it done, and that's the thing that we would always try and protect. But I guess over the last 5 years we've learned lessons quite quickly. I think we did to get the project done. We employed people who'd animation director and line producer, for example, have done a series before, whereas a lot of us were quite sort of green, I guess, and hadn't done it before. And I think that's helps us pick the right battles creatively. It's just a mixture of getting the right people, so that the money that we spend is spent wisely, and it's sort of a learn on the job thing. But it is really interesting. The world needs more animators that do become producers in a way, so that it's run from the right perspective. So I would always encourage that.
I think you're playing to your strengths though. That Jamie creatively, he gets to come into the script workshops and talk ideas through, and he uses his sensibilities in the script workshops to inform us and input in ideas. And as well as that, he looks over at the characters and he's seeing the episodes, parts of the stages in production. So he's using his experience in the show and his experience with the BBC and his own sort of sensitivity to inform and input into what you see on screen as well. So I think that is creatively satisfying. But also, Jamie's very good with people as well. So and he enjoys doing it. So that's a handy.
Sort of fell into the role a little bit.
Yeah, but that's a handy.
I think that's what I was kind of.
Yeah, I
think and it's kind of there's a lot of animators.
I haven't drawn.
I'm not looking at anyone. But lots of animators and illustrators just doing their thing and focusing in their world. And
lots of good ideas, but she's not very good at getting out there.
Yeah, and you're fantastic at just sharing that with people.
I really haven't been able to draw much over the last few years, but at the same time, we've got really great. We've got 35 people who we can carry out at the moment from the house. Being able to do that and steer that and protect them for the right reasons is really fulfilling. So I'm learning a lot from it. But hopefully, hopefully we'll make one of my own shows one day. But I'm very happy where I am at the moment because I am learning still and learning how to navigate and protect yourself against people that will treat it from business reasons. It's amazing going to MIPCOM and all those TV conferences that there's so much content out there, so much does get made, all sorts of tax breaks and things around the world. But there's not much that stands out, I guess, in the overall scheme of things. So there is space to stand out, is what I'm saying, more than sort of complaining about anything. There's room to make a mark. You just have to sort of play the game at the same time. I found myself having to play that game in order to learn how to be in that mix. Like I went to Cartoon Forum the year. Have you done that as well? We've gone to Cartoon Forum once to watch how it's done before you go and pitch. Things like that. That's really helpful just to be in the world, going to festivals, going to other events, and just sort of building up those connections over the years. And I guess that's sort of how I prepared for it and was able to do it.
I think as well, if you decide to set up a company, you've got to invest so much time in making it work. You've got to put years into it really to get it up and running and stable before you can then concentrate on your own stuff and be in a position where you can do that. And I think people like Jamie and Tim, there was a whole batch of ideas that were developed, so those will be readdressed once, I guess.
We just made a new pilot based on one of the other shows from those 10, which we hope maybe we can show that here later in the year. We'll see. We might be able to. We will get to them. But it's a long way. It's a long journey. Any other questions? We've got one more episode to show us. We'll be around for the rest of the night. Ask any more.
Do you want to say a few words about this episode that we're about to watch?
I need to choose which one it is, don't I? Do we want to do Five Stars or do we want to do what's that?
Sorry.
Good choice. I think Fireworks Dance. Yeah, Fireworks Dance is one of our quietest episodes in a way, but I think it does get one of the strongest reactions. Again, it came around from. You almost had the ending of this one first. Is that true? Probably with the song.
Yeah. So I was out with my friend Jeff again. And
Quite useful, Jeff.
it is quite useful. Yeah, it's a springboard. I think we got up to Oxford to see a friend, and it was just before Christmas. And I think they have like some sort of pre-Christmas celebration. I don't know what it is exactly. I was in Banbury, and we were just like at the station seeing our friends off, and the fireworks were going, and I just like started. I think I was quite hungover. I started dancing to the fireworks, and then I started singing this fireworks song, and then it got stuck in my friend Jeff's head on the way home, and so I kind of remembered it as a thing to put into an episode.
So I was given that information, and then therefore that was the bit that I then was told to write first. So partly because that needed to be animated too, didn't it? I think.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's the only bit in this that I then should first. But then quite a lot of the other bit is informed by that. So yes, it kind of.
It's really bizarre things that we start with. Sometimes I'll just like play like a random piece of like electronic or drum and bass or something like really, really random, and Tad's like, okay, right, yeah, we could do something with that. So it does, like, it can be really random places.
I think it's one we get the most comments about too, I think, from the recent batch, because kids just like dancing to the fireworks dance. And it's one of our quietest ones too, so it shows off the music and the animation and everything. So, yeah, so Martin.
I was going to say, before we show this episode, Ben, do you want to say anything? You've been very quiet all evening. You've not been afforded a chance to
talk about script writing. But
did you write this one, Ben?
I think I did. It's all a blur. I can't remember which ones I wrote. I have nothing prepared. Well, I guess if I had to say something, I was going to chip in earlier when we were talking about the process and somebody was asking about Jamie's role, and I think I'd like to say that for me as a writer, it's been very creatively satisfying having both Jamie and Tim sitting in on the sort of script writing and as both being sort of from creative backgrounds, because you know that they're working from they will support you and they will operate on a creative level, and obviously they have to answer to the BBC and everybody else, but they will fight for the good ideas, and I think as Jamie said earlier, if some of the ideas that's usually sort of Sarah puts forward, they might not be able to be sort of made in a particular way that she wants to be made, but both Jamie and Tim will fight for. They will see the good idea in that, and they will sort of pluck that out and help you develop it. And it's very satisfying from a creative point of view that they can do that. They won't. I mean, from my very limited experience, but I imagine there are other sort of studios where you might work where sort of ideas might get get squashed, and they might be from a more business point of view, they might sort of people might not sort of go for them. But anyway, yes. But it's a very satisfying setup that we have. I feel, because Jamie and Tim particularly, they will sort of support you all the way through the process and draw out the sort of the quality of the ideas, which has been really great to.
First job.
Yeah, it is my first job. I
think we haven't had a script writer yet that hasn't. It's their first serious script in every case, isn't it? So far, I think, which is really.
Yeah, I mean Ben came from Ben was from Bournemouth, but he was on the film side of the course, so he made short films, wrote short films. So and when we were looking for more script writers for our next series, we didn't want to rule out new writers. I think there were people saying we need someone experienced that can just go at it and stuff. But yeah, we found a lot of really good stuff in new writers.
There can be quite a few cliches in preschool. You know, people that have written 100 preschool scripts and might write scripts that are a little bit
or not even just
not everybody has
not even new writers, but just people that come from different backgrounds.
Yeah, exactly. It just helps it stay fresh by mixing up. So series 2 will start in October-ish, probably. Don't quote me on that. Sometime later this year. We just started work on it last week, so there'll be some new things to show you soon.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, I think now we should proceed to the fireworks dance. So this will be the final bit of Sarah and Duck of the evening, but I'm sure Team Sarah and Duck will be around later to answer any questions in an informal setting. So,
I just very quickly like to say, the DVD of Volume 1 is out. I hate to say this, but we really need your support on that. And Sarah's first book is out in 2 days' time.
Someone bought it online at Waterstones. I think the Piccadilly branch is stocking it, but it actually officially comes out on Thursday.
It's not a buy one get one half price offer.
Yeah.
send me the links and details on the Facebook page.
We really appreciate it, but we're still a small company, and we only get a portion of the funding for the show. We have to invest loads in it to tell these stories. So if you can support us with the DVDs and the flash, we really appreciate it because it does help us keep doing this. So
I think I've already told this to Jamie, but my friend Andrew texted me to say he couldn't come along tonight and how disappointed he is, particularly for the fact that his 3-year-old daughter, her favourite thing in the world is her Sarah and Duck toy. So this is her companion. So I promised I'd sort of pass this message on to Team Sarah and Duck.
No, I appreciate that. And plug at the end, but it is part of the process being the business, and we hope you enjoy owning the episodes and watching them.
Well, while we're on plug, okay, so it's going to sound a bit weird, but my mum was starting up an aromatherapy business, and I thought that animation would be quite a good place to advertise it because of so many people being hunched over their computers all day long. So if anyone is interested for their company or for people that they work with, she can do discounted rates and stuff because she is just starting out. She's training, but she's just starting a business.
Again, send me the links. Anyone, that goes for everyone here. If you want to plug something, send me the link. I'll put it on the Facebook page.
But honestly, cheers for being so patient and watching so many minutes of cartoons.
Jamie, it's been an absolute pleasure. I think a massive round of applause.